Hi there. This is the time where I'm going to talk about Fair Isle and weaving with our punch card number 1. And I'm going to start with casting on, and let's see, I've got 35, looks like 36 and maybe 36 needles. I want to point something out. You see these gaps right here? If you have gaps on your knitting machine like that, that means your needles are not straight anymore. They are bending. And mine, of course, has many things to the motor, but I change them every once in a while, so if it starts getting bad, then I'll fix it. But right now, so far, it's been okay. Okay. Now, this cast on that I'm using will unravel, and it's just quick and easy for me. I have my side levers pulled forward so they're not reading any pattern at this time. My Russell levers are at 2, which is normal setting. I'm on stockinette, and this is Tam Diamante. It has some nylon in it, and the rest is acrylic. I'm on tension 7. So I'm going across, which I probably should have had the weaving brushes down just to hold it. So I'm going to put them down now. And then I'm going to take a ravel cord. And I'm going to go across. And the gate pegs right past the last needle on each side. And now I'm going to hold it down tight enough and just keep going across, oh, I don't know, 5 to 10 times. Okay, I'm stopping at 8 because it starts coming up the gate pegs, and you don't want it to fall off. I'm going to pull out the ravel cord. And hook right onto it. Now this cast on comb is from a Toyota. I like it because it grabs onto things easier. But it's spaced every other needle, so it's for 9mm. And okay, so Fair Isle is 2 colors knitted, or you can do more if you have a color changer or if you switch yarns, but just normally it's just 2 colors. And right now I'm going to make sure this is locked. I'm set on 1. I'm putting that back to S for standard, and then I'm going to my carriage, and I'm going to make sure that the side levers are pushed back. I don't need the weaving brushes down, so I put them back up. And I'm on stockinette, and I'm just going to come across to the right so that we can read the pattern. Now, with stockinette, or not with stockinette, with Fair Isle, you're going to be using 2 yarns instead of just 1. And you have to think about that when it comes to your stitch style. So you actually have to accommodate 2, which would be basically that much yarn. Okay, so I'm going to raise this up to 9. And like slip stitch, Fair Isle knits narrower than Tuck does short and wide, and Fair Isle is long and narrow. Alright, so you can increase your tension even more if you want it a tad bit wider, but since we only have 10, I'm going to stick with 9. Now we're going to feed our second yarn into the second feeder. I'm going to put a clip on it, but I'm going to hold it until it gets going. So I'm going to put it to Fair Isle, which is over here. I'm going to unlock the punch card and just start knitting. Okay, so I'm going to drop this now. I'm going to bring this over and hook up my motor because it helps me. All right, and here we go. One of my lights is going dim. There we go. All right, so we got every other, and that is kind of loose, but I think on the back side it'll look a lot better. Plus I've got these huge weights on it pulling it down. So I am going to do a little bit more, and then I'm going to stop it, and then I'm going to show you what it does when you stop the punch card, but continue knitting. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to stop the punch card now, but I'm going to keep knitting. Now I'll do a little bit of stockinette. So I've switched it back to stockinette. Oops, guess it would help if I let go of that. I need a clip. This will work. Don't let those big weights fall on your feet. I'm telling you, it does not feel good. Okay, so let's drop them on my toes. Just a minute. I'm gonna pull this up. All right, so there's your normal stitch, okay, and that's just 1 by 1 on standard. And then I locked the punch card, which created stripes. All right, now if I locked a punch card and it was not a 1 by 1 punch card, then it'll still make stripes, but it depends on what row that's on. So let's say if the row had a stripe or a punched hole here and here and here, then it would, you know, just have wider gaps, but it would still be big stripes. Okay, and then stockinette. So now I'm going to knit the card on L right here, and we'll see what it does there. Let's go across. I'm not going to have the cast on comb anymore. I'm just going to put weights directly on this. And that way maybe it won't fall on my toes. Okay, so we're going to see if I can get some of this cleaned up. I don't want it to catch and get stuck. No, it's not cooperating. Scissors are great sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to the left. I'm going to move the camera. All right, so if you remember, you're going to want your side levers back. And to read the punch card, I'm going to set it back at 0 just for practice. Okay, so lock it, side levers back, Russell levers at 2, and we're going across to memorize the pattern. And then now we're going to go to Fair Isle, and the punch card is now forward right here to the L, and we're gonna unlock it. Okay, and now we're good to go. Nope, maybe not. Oh, I forgot the other yarn. Well, let's see, can we save it? Potentially we should be able to. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I guess you didn't see that. Okay, well, I forgot to put the other yarn in, so it automatically started coming apart. But because it was every other needle, I was able to save it by putting it back into stockinette. Okay, now we're going to start again. It's still reading the pattern, but I'm going to put it back at 0. I mean 1. I'm going to lock it. It's on stockinette. I'm going to read it, so levers back, Russell levers to 2, knit across. This time we're going to put the second yarn in. That might actually help. Okay, we'll keep this here. And I'm gonna put it in the feeder. And I'm gonna set it to Fair Isle. And begin knitting after I unlock the punch card so we don't have more problems. And let's see. I'm just putting these here so that if I'm touching it underneath, it's gonna start unraveling some more. And that's probably good enough for this project. All right, I'm going to undo the motor. I don't have the clip things that are on most people's tension rod. All right, I was gonna do the weaving on this too. Let's see what it looks like though. If it might survive it. But so here, is regular stitch on standard or S, okay? And then this is when you lock the punch card. And then this is when you forget to put the second thread in. And then here, you'll see that it knitted each row twice. And so let's put the two side by side. So here's every other one, and here it's 2, then 2, then 2. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can add the weaving to this so that I don't have to take up too much more time. This video is getting kind of long. Now, with silver reed machines, I'm not going to go over it today, but you can get a weaving arm. It's called an AW1, and some people think it's pretty handy for weaving, but you don't need it. Oops. Well, okay, I'm going to take, let's see, what are we going to use? We will use some frilly yarn, but I want to move it. So I'm going to unthread this second yarn, take this and we are going to move it over here. I'm not going to bother putting it there. So let's put it okay. Is it going to go through? Looks like it will. All right, so when you're weaving, we've already got the rest of the levers back, so we're just going to keep them, and we're just going to keep letting it read the same pattern, except I'm going to put it, hang on, right there on stockinette. Okay, so normal stockinette, and okay, and then you see these little pins right here. Okay, first we're gonna put the brushes down. These are weaving brushes, all right? And these little pins, well, that didn't help. Okay, these little pins on this carriage right here, and the other one are for weaving. And what you do is you're going to pull out, well, you're going to pull out the end needle I can't remember if it's both sides or not, so I'm going to do, I think it's just this needle. Okay. And okay. Now I've not tried it with this yarn, so we'll see how it works. But, so you wrap it here, and then it just kind of goes behind the gate peg, and then you just push it across after you have pulled out the first needle. Alright, so now you're going to pull out the first needle on this end, and you unwrap it from that side and put it on this side and knit across. I don't think my tension mast is liking this very well. Okay, so unwrap it from that side, put it here, pull out the first needle and knit across. Okay, first needle, I'm not sure how that's gonna look. I should have done it with normal yarn so you could see first, but I thought this might be fun. Now somebody's let the cat out again. One needle. Now, I guess you can do this similar to Intarsia. However, I don't like having my yarns on the floor, you know, for too much stuff. I mean, it's on the floor down there coming up to my mast, but this just, I don't know. This is just the way I normally do my weaving. But I've never used just the 1x1 card, so it's kind of plain. But, so I'm gonna go across this last time. I'm gonna break the yarn off, and I want to see, let's try the green, just to see the difference. I was gonna try some really thick stuff, but I don't think it's gonna do too well. My light has just about given out on me on the left side. what this looks like. It's thin, but that's okay. Oops. Oh no. That last yarn's in here. Thank goodness I got it. Well, maybe not. Okay. I have the dog and the cat now. Okay, so needle out. Needle out. Okay, so that's going to be good enough. I'm kind of bored with it, and I don't want this video to be any longer than necessary. It's already too long. And so we're going to end here. We're going to do a few rows of stockinette. And I also see that I actually left the card on L instead of S, so of course it doesn't reflect what I wanted it to reflect. I guess I should do it. Sorry. Let's try one more, just so that you can see the difference. All right. So stockinette. Now we're going to put the punch card at 1. Side levers back, come over across. Now we're going to use a weaving yarn. Let's use the green. We're going to pull a needle forward, make sure that the card lock is off and that it's on S and not L. And then we're going to have that needle pulled out and go across. Then we're going to pull this needle out, bring this here, and across. Needle out. A few more rows, then we'll be done. Thank goodness. Weaving is pretty cool. Let me show you something real quick. This is something I did a long time ago. Now, I used a variegated yarn and my cream colored yarn, and I had a punch card that looked like the top part. Okay, and then I decided, oh well, let's try stopping on different rows to see what I could come up with. So it's all the same card, but I stopped at different rows and came up with different patterns. And then in the middle, I swapped colors. So that just gives you an idea what you can do with just one punch card. And back to the boring stuff. Just a minute, Rex, I'll let you out when I'm done. Couple more and then I'm calling it. Oh, that's got two, but let's see. Okay, I think that's probably plenty. Quit there too. And this off. I'm gonna move the weights so I don't drop them on my feet. Okay. Let's see what we have. Okay, we already knew about the Fair Isle. How about that one? Okay, so there's the Fair Isle, and that is on standard. This is with the punch card locked. This is where I accidentally forgot to take or put the yarn in. This is on the extended, which is the L. And then we have the weave, which unfortunately is on L as well, and so you can't really tell. And here on this side, let's see. So it's pretty boring. So these are both on L. And then here's weaving on one, which really you can't tell with the 1x1 punch card. I would have to actually try using a different kind of yarn. I was going to try this stuff, but I think it's really, really thick. And I'm not sure how well it would work. But just give it a try and experiment. That's the whole point in doing some of these things, some of these videos, is to get you to see what can be done and get your mind working. And the more you play with it, the more creative you'll get. So anyways, I'm gonna finish up. Sorry it was so long, but I hope you learned something, and I'll see you on the next one. Talk to you later.